tab. Hello. Yo, so, I recently got a, kind of, well, I was gonna talk about another stalker, and then what ended up happening is I guess Unicron's getting stalked, and I want to talk about it, basically, because she made a video, and she kind of called me out a little bit and said, it's unacceptable if I get stalked, and I never fucking said for her that, you know, you need to, like, well, I did say that it is kind of a public thing, that if you're a public figure, that you're gonna be, you know, stalked by unsavory, like, by people who are questionable and stuff, and usually, it's gonna be because, you know, your group is a 9/11 group, or in this case, it's a cult, so, let's just get into the video, honestly. I kind of don't want to make this more than an hour long. I don't have much time, so we're gonna see how this rolls. I started this thing, I made like a first thing of this, and it ended up getting copyright claimed by YouTube, and they threw a warning at me, so I kind of don't want to do what I originally was going to do, which was play a Dr. Phil video right after this, but I'll put the Dr. Phil video link below, basically, and even give you time markers or something to go to. The video is called, what is it called? I guess it's season 11, episode 53, and it's called The Ultimate Freeloaders. It's basically people living inside of a house, but I'll explain why I was playing that video on stream, and I think that's what got me shut down the first time. So we're gonna play this real fast here. Hopefully the background music isn't too loud. Let me see. Come on. There we go. It's the best I can do. All right, let's play this.
Hi everyone, I just want to talk about this stalker situation. This is not a new situation. This has actually been going on for several years, and it's with a person probably most of you have actually had contact with, because this person is obsessed with harassing every single person who makes contact with me in any kind of public way. So if you've ever tweeted at me, this person has likely asked you if you were in Unicults. They have told lies saying that that I told them that they should be interviewing people. They've even actually interviewed some people, and I'm not saying that this person is evil. I just really don't want their energy in my life anymore, and I'm just really tired of it. They're really obsessed with Unicults, and they were removed from Unicults for blatant homophobic behavior, anti-trans behavior, and anti-Semitic behavior. And they will say that it was a big misunderstanding, but multiple people have had these experiences with them over and over and over again. We've tried really hard in Unicults to actually work with this person and ration with them and reason with them and explain why their behavior is wrong, and they just make a mockery out of pronouns. They make a mockery out of transness. They make a mockery out of women. They're misogynistic. This person is doing magic on me constantly, and I'm not
a believer in magic and things of that nature. So yeah, take it for what it's worth from that perspective. I mean, if you have a group that believes in magic and they're a cult and you're joining it, like obviously you're gonna get some not so mentally sound people, basically. So.
Really good protection. It doesn't normally bother me, but right now I'm in a position where this person doesn't know where I live, and they have known where I've lived for the last 3 years, and they have used that information to get a sense of power over me. They send me these really awful packages to my house that are just like covered in inscription and like.
And I just wanted to make a quick note, like I did last video. We don't know if it's him sending these packages or calling or things of that nature. How do we know this? We don't know.
Crusty, who knows?
I want to give a fair shake to both sides.
What, okay? If I see one of their packages, I can feel the energy from a mile away. I throw it away, trash on the street. I don't even bring it near my house. I don't open it. I don't look at it. I don't bring it near me. I do a violet flame. Get that energy away from me. This person is blocked on my phone. This person is blocked on my email. This person is blocked on every single way I can block this person. I recently switched phones and their number wasn't blocked on my new phone, and the first thing that happened when I turned on my new phone is I was getting text messages from this person. We had to block this person from the hotline because they just call and harass the people who answer the hotline. Okay, so what I want to talk about is that, like, we've reached more than 1 million people with Unicults, and literally we've had problems here and there with certain people who are upset or get angry or get triggered or whatever, right? But usually we can work with them and we can reason with them, we can ration with them. Some people are angry. We've got one person right now who's angry because their partner broke up with them when they realized that the relationship was toxic, and that person happens to be in Unicults, so they blame Unicults for those problems. And so that's just like, you know, something that happens. This person is, you know, spreading hate online about us, but that's okay. It's just part of, you know, being online. I get it.
Yeah, for sure. That's a part of being online, and there can be more crazy people, and you're a cult, and I don't give a shit if you have 1 million views. How much have you retained from those reviews? Okay, not much. So, you're talking about a group that calls themselves a cult. You're not going to attract the normies by any stretch of the means. You're going to be attracting the riffraff of society, the misfits of society, basically. So when a misfit is not accepted by the other misfits, basically, you may have big problems with that.
Other person is on another level. They're not coming from a rational place. They're not coming from a realistic place. They're not coming from a place where...
They're not coming from a rational or realistic place of a place, you know, where they, I mean, and this is just me, but, you know, where you believe in magic and witches and fairies and things, and, you know.
They actually want to be a part. It's so weird. They're like obsessed with wanting to be a part of Unicults, but then they like don't practice any of the principles. They don't understand any of the principles. And so my hope right now with talking about it is both to like spread awareness that like this is just something that is like energetically draining, but also like to talk to this person, because I don't know, honestly, I don't know that this person understands that their behavior is so abusive. I haven't told them outright, your behavior is abusive. You are obviously crossing boundaries. I'm trying to put up boundaries. No, you're not allowed. No,
You know, the funny thing is she crosses boundaries, but I mean, like, it's good that she's establishing her own boundaries in this way. You know, being a borderline personality disorder, you wouldn't expect them to have boundaries, but they do. Everyone does, and that's good that she's. You got to put this and etch this in fucking stone every time, basically, with anybody. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to get to know you. Fuck off. And that's what she's doing, and I respect that completely.
you're not allowed. No, you're not allowed. Constantly applying for Unicult, constantly trying to work around the systems that we have in place to protect the group, right? To get back in. And for what? Just to spread more hate. So I've had some people on Twitter, All Universe was saying, oh, you need to just get used to this because it's part of fame. And I don't agree with that. And I don't think any of us should stand for the fact.
I did say that, but I just didn't say that as well. I said this other shit too. I basically said, and I'm not like, this is out of order completely, but I suggested watching the Cable Guy, made in the 90s, starring Jim Carrey, where Jim Carrey was a cable guy that was stalking somebody, and if you watch it nowadays, it's not as bad. And let's see what else. To make a video here that on YouTube to point to people, if this guy is continuing to contact your neighbors and things of that nature, like you said, you could point to that video and say this, so you're not constantly having to re-explain yourself all the time. What else did I put here? Yeah, I basically say there's not much you can do in the U.S. There isn't much laws against it. They don't really take it so seriously as opposed to someone really stalking you in real life. So, and in the U.S., like they put your info out there. Like our government fucking puts your info there. When you move, he's gonna eventually find out where you moved at. Sorry to say, but that's what we live in right now. And then I recommended her to save all the correspondence here, like everything he's done, in case things like, in case he gets even more bold and does shit in real life and stuff. You have a shit ton of evidence, basically, that this guy's not sound mind and body. I did this before after she posted the video, but I had suggested someone else to make a video. His name is Matthew Berkowitz from the Zeitgeist Movement. He's a statistician by trade. I can't talk today, but that's what went on with that. And I might play that video. I probably will, since I can't play the Dr. Phil video, basically. So what else did I put down in here? Yeah, this is where I basically say you're a public figure, develop thick skin, things of that nature. The reality is there's not much you can do. And she's even said it on the video itself, so yeah, even IP2 streamers have fucking very obvious have stalkers and people that fuck with them, and there's not much you can do. There really is not much. We tried. If there was something, I would have said something about it, because your group is much smaller than IP2. And I suggested redefining the term stalking in modern day, because the way we connect with individuals is simply different. Using the old standard doesn't work anymore. We need a new barometer. And basically, watch the Cable Guy by Jim Carrey. Like we thought that was weird back then, and now it's kind of normal. So, and then I asked her to change the outlook on Stalker from an experience with IP2 streamers. They get harassed way more than what I'm saying is there's literally like 500 people who fuck with the IP2 streamers, right? And some of them could be possibly labeled as stalkers, but like, you know, there's different categories of stalkers, even, you know, because I did this for another video I was going to talk about with stalking, but I mean, like, at the end of the day, like, you can't really, like, stop them, basically. You know, so let's get back to the video right here. I just kind of wanted to go in and, because she's saying I only said this, and that's not necessarily what went on. There was more to that, basically. There was more to that meat than me saying, you know, develop, you know, thick skin and stuff. I also suggested other ideas and stuff, but I did say, yeah, at the end of the day, there's not much you can do. And if you're an organization that's like trying to change the world, like, don't let one person, you know, and let's just let this go on.
Micro celebrities or regular people get stalked. I think that is an unreasonable request to just say, this is just part of life. You know why? Because millions of people have been exposed to my content and none of them are acting like this.
No. How much are you retaining from those millions of people? Burger Planet gets millions of people from his fucking content. How much of that is he actually retaining? Okay, that's the bigger question. So, not many. And at that, you're a very controversial group. You know, it's no different than having a 9/11 group. Normies aren't going to come to a fucking 9/11 group, okay? Muggles, I guess we could say muggles or normies or what have you, but like, at the end of the day, your group is literally called Unicult. It's a fucking cult. You ain't like attracting like normal people. You're attracting misfits basically to it. So misfits of society who feel out of place. And if I'm wrong in that, call me out. I don't think I am.
Just one person. So I don't think this is an appropriate response to my content. I don't think this is an okay response to somebody's life work.
And that's I agree with that. That's
so
fine to have that.
I just want to talk about this. I want this person, Jafar, George Winfrey, he runs a Facebook group that's called Unicult. He tries to imitate us. He tries to contact us constantly. Okay, I'm talking about daily. For years, this person is obsessed with Unicult, and yet he doesn't practice the principles. He's full of hate and vitriol. I have prayed that his attention gets diverted elsewhere. I've prayed that he gets a more fulfilling life so he can do his own thing. I don't know if he's jealous. I don't know what his obsession is. It's obviously part hate because he likes to have this idea that he has a sense of power over me by doxing me. And I'm just sick of it. I don't want to play this game anymore. I don't want this person's energy in my life anymore. And I think if you see this person trying to interact with you, sometimes they go by Temple of Blood, sometimes they go by Jafar. You can see them on Twitter as Homo Galactus. This person, if you search Unicult on Twitter, you will see this person has tweeted basically daily, asking every single person who has interacted with me on Twitter if they're in Unicult. And for what reason? For what purpose? I don't understand. Okay, so I just want to spread the awareness, make everyone aware. This person, you can talk to him. I'm not saying you can't talk to him, but he is stalking me. He's been stalking me for years. I have let it slide for way too long because literally it normally doesn't bother me. But at this moment, it's really annoying to have this information of like, I want to share more about Uni Acres. I want to share more about what I'm doing. And like, I want to take more pictures of the property and show it to you all. But I can't because this one person.
Fuck you, okay? Fuck you. And let me just put it this way, okay? I did this last stream too. Thank you for visiting my webpage. I'm on the Unicult webpage right here. I'm a pop star cult leader from another planet. I started Unicult to change the entire world into a Unitopia, right? You're trying to fucking change the world, but you give up after one person? You give up after one fucking person? What the fuck? Let's read on here. I don't want to read the whole thing here, but I know work as a pop star, leader, blah, blah, organization. The members' efforts within Unicult to make the world into a brighter and more hopeful place. But you can't do that now because of one person. You're fucked. So, yeah, no. If you are a business, I would not invest in you because of that mentality. I didn't stop when I started my shit because of one person. I said, fuck you, and kept doing it. And there was a bunch of people. It just wasn't like that, you know, like people trying to fuck me up. But people were like, I don't know, man. It's it's a business, it's risky, you know, good luck, but I'm not down with that, you know, like, there was zero help. No one helped me. I fucking did it myself. And you're saying one person is gonna destroy your utopia? That's a weak fucking utopia. Like, I want it destroyed. I don't want it to come. I want you to step back if that's your mentality. I want it to crumble. I want it, like, it shouldn't have happened. Give up on it. Walk away. So, and unfortunately, I can't play the Dr. Phil video. I think that's what got me in trouble. But in the Dr. Phil video, this lady, and I'll give you like a brief abstract of it. She basically was pissed off because these people are squatting in her house, and she can't go inside of it. And there's all this legal red tape of why she can't do it, and she's just given up and was like gonna commit suicide and all this other shit because of it. And Dr. Phil's like, fuck you. Fuck you if this is gonna like destroy everything. Like, you can't allow these people to have power over you. You can't have one person have power over you, okay? And that one person, in my eyes, is not even like that bad. And we don't even know if he's really doing all the shit you're saying he's doing, okay? So, fuck you. Seriously. Seriously. Because it's not just you anymore. It's other people. That you have obligations to other people to, like, actually make this a fucking reality. This utopia, okay? And you're just gonna give up because of one person. Fuck you.
Because I don't want this one person to sit there and become obsessed with my location just so they can get some sense of power over me. It's such a sad reality that one person can ruin it for everyone. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's constant. It's constant. It's constant mail to the P.O. box, to my home address, constant emails, text messages, phone calls. He knows I blocked his phone number, so he calls from a blocked number every single day. Okay? And no, I don't think the police are gonna do anything. They don't care about things like this. I'm not trying to pursue legal action. I'm not afraid of this person. I think they just don't get it. I think they're just not understanding. I don't want their energy in my life anymore. I don't want them to contact me. I don't want them to talk to. Nobody wants them to ask them if they're in Unicult. They're not part of Unicult. They're never gonna be in part of Unicult.
Wait. I want him to ask me if I'm in Unicult, which he has, and I said, no, not really.
Unicult, they have broken way
It's fine if you ask me.
too many boundaries. They are not a good person, and they have had many opportunities.
And that's rather subjective. I mean, I respect that she thinks that he's not a good person, but you know, that's subjective upon other people, not just you.
To clear up these misunderstandings, and yet they continue to spew hate and vitriol, and we can see through it, we understand it, but it's not going to fly anymore. So I want
That's
everyone
fine.
to be aware of this person's presence.
I respect that.
And
for sure.
if this person messages you, tell them stop stalking Unicult. Leave Unicult alone, okay? Yeah, and
Yeah, man, stop stalking Unicorn, man. It's terrible. You're a horrible man.
if you want to do magic protection spells on me and on this house and on this property, and even healing spells on that person to get them into a place where they don't care about this anymore, that would be really helpful, because I'm over it. I'm tired of it. This is millions of people have seen my content and none of them are acting like this.
No. That's not the way to look at it, okay? I agree. Millions have looked at fucking Burger Planet. How many have you retained, actually, okay? It's a very small portion. Because that audience, like, you're not retaining much of a Vice audience. That Vice, for example, or MTV or whatever else, there's a segment of people that watch that content alone and don't give a shit about Unicorn. To them, excuse me, you're more of an oddity, basically. But you're not retaining that viewership at all. That's crazy. Now, if you have millions of people subscribe to you, and then out of those millions, that's a different story. But no, you can't look at it like that. You have a very small audience, and you're retaining a little amount of people from that audience, basically. All right, and you're a very weird group. Okay, you're like 9/11 or fucking reptilians. Okay, but you're even worse than that, because you're so broad, because you call yourself a cult. You're attracting all sorts of like misfit riffraffs. And I hate to say it that way, but that's the reality of it. You're not attracting normal people. And because of that, the odds even increase even more so because of that. So
it's not okay. It's not okay. So that's the situation. And
I never said it was okay. What I did say is, you don't fucking destroy your whole group because of one person. It's crazy in my eyes. Like if that's your mentality, you have no business running a business. You have no business running a cult. You need to stand aside and let a real person that wants to do this, that's willing to give up their life. And I know that you were suicidal at one point in your life, but you know, you need to put your life on the line for this, okay? And you have a kid and stuff, and I'm saying this. That's the reality of the situation. And if you don't do that, it won't succeed. If your kid knows that you died for a cause because you believed in it so much, I'm not saying for yourself to commit suicide, but to die for a cause of what you believe in is great. But yeah, I personally think that this guy has a fatal attraction to you. Like I think he is attracted to you, and you're like an attractive person. I personally would never date someone like you, and you're attractive, but to me, I'd be running to the fucking high hills because I would see all this other shit. And my mentality towards everything in life and everything I do is it really stems from this core is you've got one life to live, right? So if you believe in heaven, then when you die, you can regret all the shit that you regret like on earth, basically. Until then, live the best life you can. Do the things that you want to do. And then when you die, you can regret all the shit when you're in heaven. All the bad shit or whatever else happened to you when you're dead. Until then, you got to get living, right? And for me, me in particular, you know, I think of things in that term. And I see a person like you, and I'm like, oh my God. Like, and it's not just like just the general vibe. You're not normal, okay? And I'm not asking you like to be normal because of me. Like don't ever do that. Be you, okay? But I've got one life. I don't have time to deal with this, okay? I've got other issues in my life, and you're like this, like way too much for a person like me. Just way too much. Never, basically never. In that sense, but yeah, friends, that's fine. I could be a friend with. I'm friends with fucking Burger Plant. Well, it used to be. I don't know what we are now, but you know, any more than that would be no. Hell no. Hell fucking no. But I think this guy's like attracted to you. That's why he's doing this. But I could be mistaken. I could be mistaken on that. It's just my gut feeling. I know he's like, no, I would never be attracted to her. Blah 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 blah. But you know, I think he is. That's my gut feeling, and my gut's usually not wrong, but it could be wrong in this instance. Even, you know, I'm not perfect. I'm only human. I'm only human. I know you're an alien, so.
Just like the amount of time that we spend in our meetings in Unicult talking about this person and the problems that they're causing on every single platform.
Yeah, and I believe because of my experience with the Zeitgeist movement and the amount of time they spent on fucking one person or a few people, I know, I guarantee you that she's not like fucking joking about this, that this is a real thing, that they probably spent not just, you know, weeks, but fucking months on this one person. Fuck that. Never do that again. Never spend even 1 minute on this motherfucker, okay? Never 1 minute. Not 1 minute.
One freaking person is, it's just, I'm tired.
And it's creating fear and unsettling things and everything else, and it's not needed. Fuck them. When you shut off your internet and phone and shit, like, they cease to exist, basically.
I'm tired of it. So thank you all for your energetic support and, you know, Violet Flame and just different protections and things like that, because it really is. It makes you just want to stop being online. One person makes me want to shut everything down and just run away. right? And that's not fair. That's not fair for me. That's not fair for you. That's not fair for the world, for the thing I'm trying to create. So that's what I wanted to say. I don't think it's fair to tell somebody who is being stalked that they should just get used to it. I don't think that's a normal circumstance. I think that's something that
okay, well then just give up. Just give up. One person give up. We're just going to give up now. We're going to give up because we can do nothing about it, and I can't handle it. And the idea of changing the world and everything else, that is the weakest fucking shit ever. Fuck you. Fuck you.
has to do with someone's severe mental dishealth, and I truly pray that they get better. Taking away from the joy of sharing. Exactly. All right, thank you all so much. Uni bless.
All right, boys, we're shutting down Unitopia. It's done. Uni Acres is done now because of one person. Yikes. Yikes. So I was going to play a Dr. Phil episode. Now I think that's what got me copyrighted. So now I'm just going to we're going to look at it and be like, oh, yeah. Google or YouTube this. It's season 11, episode 3. It's called The Ultimate Freeloaders. Go to, and I will link this down below, but go start at like 6 minutes and let it go till about maybe 15 minutes or so into it, basically. It's pretty good, but basically, you know, Dr. Phil's saying, don't let one person like control so much of your life. You need to claim that control. And that's actually like the basis of me yelling at Unicle. I was like, what the fuck? But I've done that with my businesses though, right? Like, I'd not let one person or several or 5,000 people stop me. I fucking did it anyways. Fuck them, okay? It's something you believe in so much that nothing else really matters, you know? And you just don't give a shit. So, just that's why I wouldn't want to invest in fucking Uni Acres. Like, if that's the mentality of one person, I gotta stop everything. Bullshit. That's some weak shit right there. You definitely need to get thick skin or step aside and let someone else that can get, that's much stronger can handle this shit. Anyways, I wanted to put this, again, Unicult to change the entire world unless one person gets in your way, right? So then you just stop, of course. So that's some weak shit. Fuck you for even thinking that way. Pokemon had some shit on this too. It's not in this video.
Back from
but I wanted to play this. Like kind of wanting to do make a legislation and shit to stop trolls. She wanted to make people not be anonymous online anymore, and I thought that was very kind of narrow-minded perspective. But in this video, she's not going to be saying that.
So many things to say.
Pokimane is not holding back from exposing the Twitch community. Female Twitch streamer Pokimane has said that she's had enough of trolls targeting her on the internet. In a recent video, she's expressed that she's willing to talk to any organization in hopes of holding people accountable for their bullying online.
I would like to facilitate the creation of legislation that holds people accountable for the actions that they do online. I think there are some companies that I'm gonna message, organizations that are involved with certain causes, and I'll be like, listen, if you ever need someone to, I'm your girl. Because I think if you wanna pass a bill, you go in front of a group of politicians and you explain your cause. I'm like, I'll do it. I have so many things.
Yeah, and that's fine. I actually agree with this. Like, trying to stop trolling and bullying and shit, like, that gets way out of hand. You know, in IP2, there's swatting, which is the worst in my opinion. But those people just need to go fuck off completely. But Unicle, you gotta suck it up, Buttercup. That's all I gotta fucking say on that. Like the reality is it's just gonna exist basically, and there's not much you can do about it. besides bitch about it and make a video, and that's good because you can show your neighbors and friends and things of that nature. There's this guy stalking me. Here's a video. I don't want to talk about it. Boom, done. But actually trying to make people who want to be anonymous, not anonymous online, I don't really agree with that concept. I understand where they're coming from, but it's not good, I don't think. I wanted to, since I can't show the Dr. Phil video, I wanted to show Matthew Berkowitz's video that I suggested to him as to why he quit the Zeitgeist movement. This is how many old? This has got to be 7 years old right here. And it's 23 minutes long, and I think I'm just going to fucking play it and shut up. But I thought it was pretty concise as to his involvement in the movement, why he left, and things of that nature, and it was pretty reasonable. This is a reasonable thing. Like one person, you're gonna shut down the whole fucking movement. Like your group is crazy in my eyes. But I figured since I can't show the Dr. Phil video, I probably can show this video. So I'm gonna shut my mic off and play this sucker.
Hi everyone, this is Matt Berkowitz here, now ex-coordinator of the Zeitgeist Movement Vancouver chapter and ex-global lecture team member of the Zeitgeist Movement. This video will outline the gist of the story that forced me to part ways with the Zeitgeist Movement. I was hesitant to create this video for fear of being accused of further mudslinging or fueling the fire, so to speak, but enough people have asked me what has happened that led me to no longer being able to associate with the Zeitgeist Movement, and have encouraged I record and release this. So this segment will serve that purpose and lay the issue to rest as far as I'm concerned. I will condense the story as I see it as much as possible, with links below in the video description that shed further background on what I described. I understand that to many, TZM has become a bit of an emotional crux where criticism of it as an institution or of the content it puts out is met with defensiveness, or the perception that the critic is just trolling. I must admit I somewhat fell into this camp in the earlier days, and I urge those who may be listening who feel defensive with respect to what I'm about to describe, to take pause and to try to reflect on why this is, and consider the perspective I will offer. So let me get right down to it. I've been active with TZM more or less since day one, having been involved right after the startup of the local chapter here in Vancouver. I got involved like many did after seeing the second Zeitgeist film, and the solutions proposed really resonated with me, to the extent that I went to work researching as best as I could to verify the material put forth, and eventually decided to get involved. This was before I had really developed proper critical thinking skills, in the sense of understanding scientific skepticism and a good understanding of the scientific process as it operates in practice. I ended up becoming the main spokesman for my local chapter here, doing radio interviews, lectures, and the like, eventually joining the TZM Global Lecture Team and doing talks abroad for the annual Z-Day event. I ended up working fairly closely with Peter Joseph on many projects, including the TZM Defined book that I edited with Ben McLeish, and other materials. I even became good personal friends with Peter and had a lot of respect for him. Since the early days, I and others locally recognized the serious lack of infrastructure that TZM suffered from since day one, and had advocated for some proper structure to be set up. There needed to be a more specifically defined organizational structure with specific roles delegated to specific people who are accountable, and who are replaced if they are incompetent. It has really just been a free-for-all the whole time, with one person at the top controlling almost all media content and with control over most admin channels for TZM Global. Despite the TZM party line of being a leaderless movement, it functioned in a way that is anything but this. The structure has also never been accessible or visible to outsiders, such that when new people join, there is always so much confusion as to the proper channels they should travel through to get involved. The suggestions to correct these issues often fell on deaf ears, or at least they were verbally acknowledged while nothing was ever really done with it. I figured that any such problems were outweighed by the importance of the message TZM put forward, and as such continued to remain very active, with the hope of trying to improve such problems. Through my personal evolution, I learned more and more about science, skepticism, and the methodologies related, to the extent that I wished to speak out and promote such ideas within a movement that largely suffered from a membership prone to believing in pseudoscience and conspiracy theories. And for a movement that claims to promote, quote, the scientific method for social concern, I found this deeply troubling. It also became more and more clear as I refined my skepticism that a big portion of this problem was due to the origins of TZM and the inevitable association with the first Zeitgeist film. Despite numerous attempts to separate the Zeitgeist film series and the Zeitgeist movement, the distinction has failed to be made clear to outsiders, not least of which because the same person is behind the creation of each. I'll get back to this point later. I did a lecture for the 2013 Z-Day event in LA on logical fallacies, which was one attempt to inject a boost of skepticism and better logic into TZM. From my perspective, it was quite well received. My Z-Day 2014 talk was about using science as a basis for morality, to serve as the philosophical approach that underpins the concept of a resource-based economy, as it is central to its thesis. My last TZM-related talk was the one that I think was the most important I did in all my time affiliated, one directly targeting the promotion of science literacy, offering tools that could allow people to more accurately assess scientific research. And to drill many points home and make impact, I intentionally used a few socially contentious examples. I knew this would create a bit of a stir due to the high degree of pseudoscience believers in TZM, but I figured such a stir was necessary in order to solidify TZM as a legitimately science-based organization. So let's pause for a second to make it clear what the two main problems are with TZM as I see it. Number one, the lack of infrastructure, both in terms of the lack of properly defined roles and protocol for administrative duties, and in terms of one person at the top taking on a disproportionate amount of work, often acting in isolation and as a dictatorship with respect to how decisions are made. And the second problem, which very much relates to the first, is the association of TZM with pseudoscience and conspiracy theories. Now, let me be clear, I'm not saying that central to TZM's work is the outright promotion of pseudoscience and conspiracy theories. I'm saying that due to the lack of clear distinction between the Zeitgeist film series and the Zeitgeist movement, there has always been this confusion in a PR sense, and members since day one have had to constantly explain the difference to newcomers. There is further the problem of Peter Joseph, who claims not to be a leader but acts as if he is one, and his position of being idolized by many in the community, who often look up to him for cues as to what to believe and whose personal views are consequently not well separated from TZM. As a case in point, the most commonly used material when promoting TZM is the film series, specifically the second and third films, with many chapters still giving out the first film, which is really a horrendous work content-wise when it comes to scientific accuracy in all three sections, and it has very much stained the reputation of TZM from the start. But I won't deviate into discussing that here. These issues have translated into lower and lower interest in TZM over the years, at least by the measure of Google Trends. So obviously, something is wrong. So, back to my last TZM talk on science literacy. Its release was met with lots of noise and complaints from the pseudoscience and conspiracy theory promoters within TZM, much of which got directed to Peter, which understandably got on his nerves, to the extent that he suggested we remove the video from the official channel to appease community dissent. I was not happy about this, and voiced my concern over removing a video that describes the very thing that the organization is supposed to stand for, understanding the scientific process and its relationship to social progress. Peter suggested, and I agreed, that the fate of the video would be determined in a Global Chapters Administration, or GCA meeting. The GCA, for those who don't know, is an internal admin body of TZM that works to provide chapter support, among other things. So that meeting was had, and by the end, 7 out of 8 people present in the meeting agreed that the video was to stay, but that a disclaimer was to be placed in the video description that the contents were not necessarily representative of what TZM promotes. I wasn't overly happy with this disclaimer, but this was what the consensus was, and I agreed to it. As a slight tangent, by the way, several of the members on this team, like much of the membership of TZM, are very confused when it comes to how science operates, professing beliefs in a range of pseudoscientific positions and conspiracy theories. One volunteer of the team sticks out specifically in being particularly belligerent, promoting homeopathy, all sorts of other absurd alternative medicine remedies, outlandish conspiracy theories, chemtrails, and so forth. Just as a point of personal commentary, this is embarrassing. Here we have an organization that is supposed to be founded upon the use of the scientific method for social concern, and we have people like this representing it, promoting such views. It's frankly a disgrace and a testament to the type of people this organization often attracts. And I don't buy.
Yeah. So the Zeitgeist movement would attract conspiratorial type of thinking, basically, and that would be the lead train of thought. So Unicult would attract ... right? I mean, they wouldn't be attracting very normal people, basically, by societal standards. So I wouldn't give a shit. You've seen millions of people have seen Burger Planet have a bad haircut and fucking cry on stream, but doesn't mean jack shit. Doesn't mean you're not going to get these crazy riffraff people, misfits. I mean, you're attracting misfits, basically, and then the misfits reject other misfits on top of that, and you get some crazy shit.
Buy the justification that as long as people keep their personal beliefs separate from TZM activism, then there is no issue. Beliefs affect other beliefs, and as such, if you are someone following the paleo diet, believe that evil big pharma is suppressing cancer cures, and deny mountains of well-established scientific truths, these beliefs will invariably tarnish your activism efforts. This is, of course, not to insult the many excellent people I've met in the organization, and who I remain good friends with today. So anyway, let's continue. During this time, I was in communication with Peter, who really resented the fact that we had to discuss such a problem, and who was admittedly more concerned with keeping the peace within TZM rather than producing output that is representative of TZM. He told me in an email that he appreciated most of the content, but would have used different word choices in certain areas and not called out certain groups as being guilty of promoting pseudoscience. I understood his concerns, even if I didn't agree with them, and we decided to move on, though with a slightly tainted relationship due to my staunch defense of my lecture content and choice of communication tactics. Such emails on my behalf were never meant to invoke emotional upset in Peter, but they appeared to trigger anger and frustration in his part, to the extent that he uttered some rather aggressive and character-deriding remarks towards me. On several occasions, I offered to Skype with Peter to iron out all our issues and disagreements, to see if we could come to a point of convergence, or at least compromise in how to proceed. But he straight out said he did not have time for it and ignored my request to Skype. He just wanted to move on and not discuss the issue anymore. Needless to say, he did not share my view that pseudoscience and conspiracy thinking was dominant and a problem within TZM. No doubt because he promotes his fair share of both, having promoted in the past 9/11 conspiracy theories, anti-vaccination views, alternative cancer cures, and conspiracy theories associated with their alleged suppression, anti-GMO views, and so forth. More time passed, and we continued to work together and communicate through email, though I knew this would not be the last of the issue. Another wave of hate mails about my lecture eventually started back up and got directed to Peter, at which point he got in touch with me again and suggested we remove the video, with my permission. I once again defended the importance of the video staying up and said that my and others' participation in TZM is contingent on the video remaining up, due to what it represents, being careful not to communicate this as a threat, but as a real issue to consider. Peter did not like this and retorted with the most emotionally belligerent email yet, accusing me of having distorted motives, of wanting attention, and of being insensitive to what he has to deal with because of the video. I was floored, but tried my best to patch things up, though I again knew that nothing was solved and that our relationship would be very tainted going forward. The final straw came in late October 2014, when Peter made a post on his Facebook channel, promoting an alternative cancer cure, and by extension, conspiracy theory responsible for its alleged suppression by the cancer establishment, attempting to make a larger point about how science works. He also uttered some scientifically unsupported statements about GMOs and their supposed link to health and ecological problems. This bothered me. Once again, because of the blurred distinction between what PJ says and what TZM represents, as people view him as a figurehead. So I decided to leave a comment on the Facebook thread with a link to an article that debunks the claims in the film Peter linked to, and requesting that Peter present evidence to substantiate his claims about GMOs. I admittedly could have chosen my words better if I had only left out the word ridiculous when stating that the article I linked to debunks many of the ridiculous claims in the documentary, but there was certainly nothing disrespectful in my short comment. My comment was deleted immediately, and I received an emotionally charged, angry email from Peter telling me how thoughtless and insulting I'd been, and how this confirmed my lack of research skills, tact, and invulnerability. He went on to hugely project how distorted my motives were and how I just don't get what TZM is about. He sent a follow-up email instructing me that all my admin privileges in the various TZM channels had been or were about to be removed, and issued a few more ad homs my way. All this triggered from a two-liner in a Facebook thread that countered information he put forward, which, to be fair, was likely just an eruption of the annoyance and anger he had towards me in the months past for our disagreements about science and PR in TZM. I knew this was the end of my participation in TZM. Since I had tried ad nauseum to discuss these issues in a more personal way with him, at first through email, and then, as I suggested, over Skype, which he refused, I decided that this was now a public issue, since it affects TZM as an organization, and the people who identify with and participate in this organization needed to know the situation. However, I knew that my doing so would likely spur objections, especially from the members who assume anyone criticizing TZM or Peter is an attention-seeking troll or something like that. So I posted a brief summary of these events on my personal Facebook page. This was on October 28, 2014, which, if you're Facebook friends with me, you can certainly go back and read it to verify. In discussions with a few sympathizers, I was encouraged to draft a one-page letter to outline my concerns with the organization, which again are the severe infrastructural issues and the perceived association of TZM as a promoter of pseudoscience and conspiracy theories, which is mostly a function of the former issue. I drafted the letter and posted it a few days later and sought signatures from people who felt the same way. The goal was to get the attention of the GCA and other prominent TZM members to recognize these issues were legitimate and agreed upon by many. And it is signed by nearly 100 ex and current members of TZM, including many coordinators and others who had or have prominent roles. During this time, in what I can only assume was in emotional fury, Peter Joseph outright deleted my science literacy video, despite the GCA consensus agreeing that it should stay up, displaying in full shine his dictatorial behavior. Now, people might think I'm being harsh and emotionally driven in stating it that way, but consider the facts. The video was uploaded initially by Peter in early June 2014. When people started complaining, it was suggested that the GCA decide the ultimate fate of the video. The GCA arrived at a consensus that the video was to stay, but with a disclaimer in the video description. After I angered Peter by responding to his Facebook thread on an allegedly suppressed cancer cure, he deleted me as an admin from all TZM media channels and subsequently deleted my video after I drafted the aforementioned letter. That is dictatorial, plain and simple, and I'm going to label Peter's behavior the way I see it so that people are aware of the personality that manages this organization and what they are involved with by participating in it. Later, he removed nearly all of my work from the TZM official channel, even though it had nothing to do at all with this whole ordeal. Another dictatorial move, which I can only guess was because the guy can't stand me now and doesn't want my name to be associated with TZM publicly. Which, really, is actually fine with me, since it's rather embarrassing now in my mind to be associated with such an organization. But on the other hand, it's a shame that all the content I worked hard at creating over the years is gone, though almost all of the main lectures are still hosted elsewhere online at least. As an aside, another aspect of his dictatorial behavior is his liberal use of the block and delete buttons of Facebook comments to either his personal Facebook page and even the TZM global one. Countless people have reported this. It doesn't even have to be disrespectful either. It can simply be a comment that disagrees with Peter's perspective, such as about alternative cancer cures or ethical veganism. And you can bet that if you challenge him, your comment will get deleted, and perhaps you'll be blocked if you do it enough. Now, he's certainly entitled to do what he wants on his personal Facebook page, but he's also liable for criticism of such behavior. Anyway, the GCA got a hold of the letter and the concerns that were mounted, and I and the signees of the letter were invited to an open meeting on the TZM TeamSpeak server to discuss the issues and possible resolutions. The meeting was held a week later over the course of a 2-hour meeting. But in summary, there was a consensus amongst the GCA and the other attendees that these issues existed, which was discussed in the first half of the meeting. However, when it came to actually putting something in action, the GCA was hesitant to do anything. No concrete action plans were agreed on by the end of the meeting. And this is where it ends. Nothing was communicated to me by the GCA after this, indicating that they either don't recognize the importance of the issue or that they don't care enough to confront Peter with his ridiculous behavior and make some drastic changes. I did all I felt was warranted and realized that I was banging my head against a brick wall in terms of changing a hopelessly broken organizational structure. Many people urged me to continue trying to increase scientific skepticism within the organization, and I'm appreciative of these requests. However, it comes a time when one has to evaluate the opportunity cost of one's time, and I am now in the position where I feel it a complete waste of time to continue advocating the ideas in association with TZM as an institution or identifier. I still agree with many of the tenets that TZM puts forward, but many of the specifics are simply not well thought out or not based on the best evidence available. For example, if TZM advocates the best of science applied to society, an idea that I can certainly get behind, presumably this would reference the scientific consensus position for as many areas as possible as are relevant to the issues TZM discusses, right? However, it seems TZM is selective about which consensuses it embraces. For example, it acknowledges climate change, for which there is a massive scientific consensus, but doesn't seem to embrace the vast consensuses on the safety and usefulness of both GMOs and nuclear energy. And the latter two issues are at least as relevant to the subject of social sustainability. So why is this so? What metric is being used to determine which consensuses TZM adheres to? It appears to simply be decided based on which subjects are palatable to its membership, which ones are perceived to be corrupted by the dominant institutions invested in these fields of research, despite any real evidence for this corruption, or more bluntly, it's simply up to what Peter agrees with based on his subjective whims, without any reference to a solid scientific metric. I posed versions of this question to Peter on numerous occasions through email, but never got a proper response. I don't want to tell others what to do, but I would issue a piece of advice to those who are still active in this organization. If you recognize these problems, can you justify to yourself spending time supporting this institution? I know the TZM party line is, it's about the train of thought, not loyalty to an institution. But then, given the fatal flaws of the organization that show no sign of being resolved even slightly, why not continue on promoting supportive values and ideas without the institutional framework, which I would contend, at this point, does more damage to your cause than help? In my mind, TZM's image and thus potential to affect change has been destroyed by its founder and de facto leader, who is in complete denial about the role he plays in it and attacks anyone who challenges him. Furthermore, I have realized that science literacy is a necessary prerequisite for spreading the ideas that TZM claims to support and promote, both for the people who promote the ideas and the audience. Hence, this really ought to be the focus. This is why I have decided to continue on in my own platform. I will be starting a video series and YouTube channel, aptly titled Science Literacy, in which I will promote just that, science literacy, and more broadly, how the scientific process works, both in theory and in practice. I'll look chronologically at topics like how scientific consensus emerges and how reliable it is. I'll discuss corruption in science, the phenomenon of science denialism and its psychological underpinnings, as well as conspiracy theory thinking, and everything related to that contentious topic. I will then delve into the specific steps people ought to take to get to the bottom of various topics, and do specialized videos for all these social hot topics of our time, spanning from GMOs to psychiatry. I will do this all in what will probably be 5 to 10 minute videos in as digestible a format as possible, so that anyone can understand this stuff. After all, I'm not a scientist and don't pretend to have expertise in most of this stuff, but I do understand the process and methodology inherent to the scientific enterprise, and wish to help others understand this as well. So that's where I'll leave you. I hope that helps clear up any ambiguities for those who did not follow these events as they ensued. I want to thank everyone for listening and for the immense amount of support I received throughout these times. I am truly appreciative. I also want to thank everyone for their support of my work with TZM over the years, and I hope my future work will be interesting and worthwhile for whomever checks it out. Thank you very much, everyone.
All right, next we're gonna check out the Stalker has released a video. Let's see what this is about.
So either a person is of exceptional perception, exceptional empathy, or they aren't.
Yeah, I'm a good brainwasher.
Brainwashing guides.
Cult like Heaven's Gate. Yeah, kind of like Heaven's Gate, but I think that I actually don't even think that Heaven's Gate was wrong. I literally think they made it onto that fucking meteoroid.
See, if you tell people that they can kill themselves and go to space heaven and be with the aliens because it's worked before, don't you think that's increasing the danger of the whole thing?
It was the 90s. They had a long ways to go before things got better.
As I've said before, Jim Jones, Charles Manson, Teal, she calls herself an Arcturian. For off this person. But, in a non-public way, November 12th. She phoned a couple other times. I'm not going to say her legal name as part of the program, but I know the, legal name and, but she didn't make any sounds that into words. But you could tell it was a female voice, and I phoned back and got a hold of this person. And she was the meanest individual that I had ever talked to. But she hung up the phone when right after asking a question about, well, why your interest in Unicults and why do you find... watch the videos. Some of them are pretty entertaining, right? There's more to it than that, but this is not what this video is about. I totally understand why someone specifically out of the 4 survivors that I know of that there were suicide attempts after private conversations with Unical, one of the 4 people that are still alive specifically blames Unical because of the way that they were treated. And after that conversation, I totally understand. Because people emotionally rely on this person. People rely on this person for guidance. And what type of guidance is being offered? What is the reasoning that sets it apart, other than just being a jumble of popular trends? There are other risks to this group that I've drawn attention to, but for this person to say to act like, oh, you can't have any positive influence in anybody's life and never be of any value to anyone or anything like that, it's like, well, good thing I never had any warm feelings for this person. But there's now 2 people that have so killed themselves. One was a woman who made a pillow with pockets or something like that. And more recently was another long-time Unicult member. And if you're going to tell people that suicide is not wrong, and you don't blame anybody because it's well, maybe you're not as up on technology or don't have as much wealth as she does, but I honestly think that this property that they bought was something in the way of a, down payment. So if the funds reduce at all, they're going to lose everything. But that's not the point. That's not about what I want. I just think that certain aspects of Unicult's influence and presence are, of a danger to some people.
Fair enough. He sent me the stalker, quote unquote, sent me this video, and it says response to the attempt to stir up action against me with Unicron. So we're gonna play it. I think it's listed as unlisted, so I feel important for getting this, but I'm gonna put this out in the ether.
Hey everyone, I just want to talk about this stalker situation.
I'm gonna mute my mic.
This is not a new situation.
Well, obviously, if there is a stalker situation, you have to do more than say, oh, I consider them a stalker, right?
This has actually been going on for several years, and it's with a person probably most of you have actually had contact with, because this person is obsessed with harassing every single person who...
Yet, in a couple videos last year, this person said that they were obsessed with me.
who makes contact with me in a...
What video does the stalker think she made a video about them? Basically, I don't get that. They asked me, like, do you play? I don't know what video. I don't know what he's talking about with that shit. Like, I'm gonna err on the side of caution and say no video she's ever made was ever about you or me or anybody. Okay, so she successfully manages to split her private life and her personal life in two different categories. Basically, she I don't think she mixes them together. She's pretty savvy in not doing that. So
any kind of public way. So if you've ever tweeted at me, this person has likely asked you if you are in Unicult. They have told lies saying that...
Well, if it's Unicult, don't take it personally. It's interest in the spiritual personalities that are involved in what's supposed to be a spiritual movement.
That I told them that they should be interviewing people. They've even actually interviewed some people, and I'm not saying that this person is evil. I just...
Yeah, this person is... They know that they don't consider that, but they are going to say it later.
Really don't want their energy in my life anymore, and I'm just really tired of
I've never had a personal connection with this person.
it. They're really obsessed with Unicults, and they were removed from Unicults for blatant homophobic behavior.
My homophobic behavior, it meant that I, as far as other aspects of them, I consider them just the same as anybody else, unless they showed otherwise.
Anti-trans behavior.
And if people want to cross-dress in their own life, or they think they're whatever, it's like, well, if they're not hurting me with it,
Anti-Semitic behavior.
So giving lectures about Judaism and talking to rabbis and studying associated text and archaeology and stuff, yeah, that's...
And they will say that it was a big misunderstanding, but multiple people have had these...
Yet, since the start, there's never been any specific details that anybody has ever mentioned. And Unicult very specifically says that nothing can be mentioned, not a single phrase.
experiences with them over and over and over again. We've tried...
And anybody who said not to contact them, well, they haven't been contacted again. But that's pretty much not been the case.
really hard in Unicults to actually work with this person.
No, there's been no attempt whatsoever towards anything like that. I honestly just thought it was a group to share memes and talk about crystals and either common or not so common beliefs.
And ration with them and reason with them.
Yet there has been absolutely no... Well, you're going to see why this person is not reasoning with anybody, not even themselves.
And explain why their behavior is wrong, and they just make
See, saying the person's not evil, but he's wrong. Well, if it's wrong, then you can explain the ethics or morality.
Out of pronouns, they make them up. Out of transness, they make them up.
No, language use isn't necessarily funny. I mean, don't take offense or don't feel oppressed because people have a sense of humor about life.
Out of women, they're...
Yeah, by considering them inherently equal unless they choose to do otherwise. And equal in a way that respects them as females. That respects them at whatever stage of life they're at.
misogynistic. This person is doing magic on me constantly.
And by that, she means that those who watch my videos are in such a position that they, I'm evoking for my audience as well. Now, if they want to turn it against themselves, that's, their choice. People worship how and what they may with my material, whatever.
And I have really good protection. It doesn't normally bother me.
Yet, this person feels like they're under some sort of constant attack. And as we've seen in the post on Twitter and stuff like this, is that there's extreme exaggeration.
But right now, I'm in a position where this person doesn't know what I did.
And this is actually in response to a cease and desist letter that was received.
They have known me for the last 2 years.
And that's because it's listed online. Everywhere where this person's ever been living, they have posted stuff online to make very clear not only what latitude and longitude, but, other information, that stuff on the side saying, oh, well, this is in LA, or this is in Pasadena, or this is in Seattle, or what, You don't do that online. If you actually consider the safety issues, but I'm not, I didn't tell anybody. It's just,
They use that information to get a sense of power over me. They send me these really awful packages to attack.
And I actually posted those packages.
Just like covered in inscription and crusty, who knows.
And the crusty thing, come on. This is how you know that this person is a liar. Not just the body language, but anybody who's been to the post office since 2001, you have a big old list of stuff they will not allow. And if you try to sneak that in, they might actually arrest you before you leave the post office.
Okay, if I see one of the packages, I can feel the energy from a mile away and throw it away like trash on the street. Bring it to my house. Don't.
And I wouldn't be surprised if this person actually keeps them, but just out of view. But honestly, if this is how you are, you project some sort of vibes and you think it's some sort of action against you, because this is an indication that it's not actually anything physical that this person has witnessed. It's like we see in other videos about the guides.
Open it, look at it, bring it near me. Violent thing. Get that energy. This person's blocked on my phone. This person's blocked in my email. This person's blocked in every single way I can block this person. I recently switched phones, and their number wasn't blocked on my new phone. And the first...
Well, you did call me first. And I've never, on this phone that I'm recording this, there's nothing in the way of not to contact. And no, the number isn't to harass people. It's specifically to talk about Unicult. It's about to talk, the material, about the behavior of those running Unicult. If they have some sort of question or response to that, that's what the stuff is for. And if this person's operating as the leader of Unicult, well, that would be the equivalent of contacting the manager, right?
Okay, so what I want to talk about is that, we've reached more than 1 million people with Unicults.
No, you just have twice the views on YouTube that I do. And if you look at the private videos that are linked and sent out to people like me who actually joined, you'll find that the numbers of views are less after a whole year than that. All of them are less than that. So there's no way in the world that there's anywhere near as many actual followers of the content. But I don't make it it's not about my personality. You can agree or disagree with me. You can use my material to a different angle.
Whatever, right? But usually we can work with them. We can reason with them. We can rationalize them.
And as I said before, if there's a full refund and none of this behavior that I've felt the right to defend myself in regards to the claims occurred, then that would have been it. I would have, maybe posted a video about one of the books or something, but that would have been it. There wouldn't have been any contact with any of the members, although before I joined Unicult, there had been Unicult members that were subscribed to my channel.
So far, I can't really hear her that much, but I get an idea because I watched the video previously, but me and the stalker are basically on the same page as far as her viewership. It's not a million people viewers. Just because you're getting a million views doesn't mean those viewers are going to be, in Unicult basically. And at that, you're a controversial group. And this is something you didn't say, but I'm going to re-emphasize. It's called a cult, or you're a 9/11 group, or you're a reptilian group. You're going to attract misfits of society, not normal people. So, of course, if the misfits of society reject another misfit, right, because of whatever reason, they're going to be pissed off. And they're going to do shit that not normal people would do, right? So, let's go on.
There's someone now who's angry because their partner broke up with them. And they realized that the relationship was toxic.
No, the relationship is toxic according to her because the person wasn't accepting of their sexual fantasies about kids and animals. And that was being encouraged by Unicult in the Texas retreat. And I'm not going to say who that was, but I know who it was.
That's fucked up. That's all I got to say about that. That's fucked up, man.
And so that's just same thing that happens. This person is, spreading hate online about us.
Now, sometimes opposing the problems of an individual is not spreading hate, it's spreading love. Because obviously these beliefs and stuff is destroying this individual.
But that's okay. It's just part of being online. I get it.
And it's part of life. People don't agree with you. And whether people like you or not, too, that's just something you can generally dismiss.
Some of the person you're not coming from a rational place, you're not coming from a realistic place, you're not coming from a place where...
Coming from a place of peace and harmony, it doesn't mesh well with these people.
They actually want to be a part. It's so weird. They're like obsessed with wanting to be part of Unicults, but then they like don't practice any of the principles at all.
And you can see the material right up to the Discord conversations that are mentioned and all that, you know, whenever this supposed problem started that can't be articulated, Unical was sharing in different platforms what I had to say. So the idea I didn't understand, that my videos about the books, that I just don't know what Unicult is doing. Most certainly do.
Understand any of these. And so my hope right now with talking about it is hope to like spread awareness that like this is just something.
No, we saw through Twitter that this person wants my influence to die off. Whether that's my media or otherwise, that is an absolutely horrible thing for this person to try to stir up. Why can't they just ignore and let things go? And
I agree.
Something that is like energetic beginning, but also like to talk to this person because I don't know. Honestly, I don't know that this person understands that their behavior is so abusive.
see, if somebody doesn't agree, if somebody doesn't let this person control them, it's considered abusive.
Haven't told him outright. Your behavior is abusive. You are obviously crossing boundaries. I'm gonna put up boundaries. No, you're not allowed. You're not.
And this person reacts different. See, publicly. But it's about this claim about there's. But we see elsewhere, and I can show you. I could show you elsewhere, where she's like, "Oh, he's our favorite caller," and you know the.
Man, like the stalker has talked about this numerous times about how she's his favorite color and shit, but like so what? So what if she's your favorite? Don't have that as a fucking gold medal or anything like that. That's not. People say a lot of shit, man. She may take that back. She may be nervous or something else. Like, you don't know. Maybe you weren't her favorite caller, right? Like, I wouldn't tote that around or take that very seriously, in my opinion.
The different react.
Female, in general, people say a lot of shit, especially females. And that, to me, kind of sticks out like, oh, she's into you, man. Like, in your head. And she just may be saying that, okay? It really means nothing to her, so.
To me otherwise. But as I'm saying, this person's yikes. And some of it's ew. I mean, okay, it's a woman, but I need something more than that in life. Stop acting like my issues with this behavior. I'd take issues if they were a man too.
Constantly trying to work around the systems that we have in place.
And there aren't actually systems to protect the group. I think what's going on with Unicult is that, well, actually I do know about it a little bit, but there are federal agents that do keep a watch on. And I bet one of the reasons why the actual numbers are so low is because some people get arrested because this person promotes drugs and some other stuff and anti-government behavior. You think they're not grabbing up the people who riot and vandalize and hurt and kill and stuff in the streets? They are, but they're just making it sound like it's justified on the media to fill those prison cells.
Right, to get that. And for what? Just to spread more hate.
No, it was I honestly thought it was like a possibly more fulfilling group to be involved with than the comment section of a Poppy video.
So, I've had some people on Twitter, on universities saying, oh, you need to just get used to this because it's part of the thing. And I don't agree with it. And I don't think
I want to reiterate that. I never thought, like, I said that, but there was more to that than what I said. Okay? And I showed you guys, it was more than that. I did say you need to grow thick skin, but, like, if you're going to shut down the Uni Acres because of one person, again, fuck you. Come on.
And see, It's about fame with this person. And you can tell the body language. It's about hubris. It's about hubris here. It's not about a spiritual message.
Any of us should stand for the fact that micro-celebrities or celebrities or regular people get...
Micro-celebrities? What, I was on a regional news show too? I mean, come on.
That's stopped. I think that is an unreasonable request to be said.
And stalked is different. And this person could actually end up being stalked. Claiming all, making this sexual issue and drawing attention with the contest and all that. What was left out with the contest was that I wasn't joining in that thing. I literally put, I have no intention to, and I spelt out the abbreviation with any of them. Even if I had the opportunity, that wasn't the point. Because as I said, it was an allegory. And I was trying to make some points to, address some things, aside from the fact that I can, to some degree, invent a fairy tale.
This is just part of life. You know why? Because millions of people have been executed.
Well, things are a part of life because they have been, society has been lethargic. And actually, if you look at the history, if you had access to the Discord and these other chats to the side and stuff, there's been a lot more toxic behavior than anything even attributed to me. I mean, at least by example, right?
Yeah. I mean, I would actually agree with that. Like, based on what I've seen this guy do, it's like very small potatoes so far. So, it's not even that crazy. It's just, if anything, it's been persistent throughout the years. So, and maybe he's not even doing all the shit she's saying she's doing. So, I don't know.
I don't think this is an appropriate response to the content. I think this is an okay response to somebody's work.
Well, if this person was a philosopher, they would be able to, okay, challenge me, ask questions, respond in a way that's not repeating. Most of the actual followers just repeat. They have no content of their own. They're non-player characters, as it's called.
So, I just want to talk about this. I want this person, George Winfrey, to run the Facebook group that's called Unicults because they imitate us. He tries to contact us constantly.
And that is not cool. If you think you're releasing people's identities and stuff like this in order to make a point, you're not supposed to do that. Unicron is what we're going to call Unicron on, well, the main servers, right? But if it's a personal account, it's like, okay, then we refer with the legal name. Absolutely not daily. I've posted, actually, the sort of stuff that I've said. So obviously, everything that possibly happens with Unicult that is not immediately perceived as positive favored is probably a better word, because toxic positivity does exist. Now, yeah, what principles? Tell us what principles. I am full of potential. And did I ever say I hate beings?
I have prayed that his attention gets elsewhere. I prayed that his attention do his own thing. I don't know.
I do my own thing. I've done my own thing since before you started with this stuff. One can still find some of my papers back when they were, top results, very briefly on Google or something on spiritual subjects.
He's jealous, I don't know what his obsession is. It's obviously part hate because he likes to have this idea that he has a sense of power over me by doxing me.
Yeah, nobody doxed you. Now, if people warn the community that there is an abuser, that there is somebody who psychologically tears people down, either through social means, recruiting others, or, and telling people that killing themselves would be okay, and trying to tell people how we're, and you can kind of see how this person would act if they were in person, right?
And I'm just sick of it. I don't want to play this game anymore. I don't want this person to have me.
Well, don't watch my videos. If they trouble you that much, don't watch my videos. Because I know you watch my videos. And if somebody has an opinion, well, it's not that I don't understand, or even that they don't understand. If somebody that I talk to has an opinion about Unicult, well, they have an opinion about Unicult.
And I think if you see this person trying to interact with you, sometimes they go by Temple of Blood, sometimes they go by...
No, Temple of Blood is not a personal identity.
You can see them on Twitter as Homo Galactus. This person, if you search
See?
Unicult on Twitter, you will see this person has tweeted basically daily, asking every single person who's interacting with me on Twitter if they're...
And this person doesn't know how people, for media reasons, seek out interviews. Now, when it's totally off film and stuff like this, I go around, I just talk to people, and I ask them whatever questions and how many questions they'll let me ask. Man, woman, child, elderly, whatever. Of course, I'm sure some of it's different with whatever, and people get really iffy about, even a crying kid, right? That's messed up, because people like this have turned society, and that makes things worse, that you can't even, what's wrong,
And for what reason? For what purpose? I don't understand. Okay, so...
Now, if they paid closer attention to even what I say in the Responding to Unicult playlist, they would understand.
I just want to spread the awareness, make everyone aware. This person, you can talk to him, I'm not saying you can't talk to him, but he is stalking.
See, there's that phrase, and there's the body language, there's trying to provoke something. Now, I'm not saying this, but see in your heart, she knows how cult leaders talk.
And you've been stalking me for years. I've let it slide for way too long.
No, there's never been a threat, never been whatever, and if I talk to this person away from what was being witnessed, they would talk longer.
Because literally, if normal really doesn't bother me,
Well, if it doesn't bother this person, then they can just, then they wouldn't be doing this, right?
but at this moment, it's really annoying to have this information. Like, I want to share more about NeeNee. I want to share more about what I'm doing. And, I want to take more pictures of the property.
Well, don't worry, all that's online for anybody who's been paying attention to your videos. They can find it without you saying the numbers of your street address or something, but
Yeah.
which is the thing.
Yeah. Stalkers right on this. Like they're gonna find, if they want to find you, they can find you.
Have some security idea about your place, right? Or if you really thought, and it's not about the group. If this was about some group commune or something, yeah, at the very least, people would be like, well, they're kind of weird, and not go there and make a difference, or there'd be a big enough group that they're like, okay.
And show it to me. But I can't because this one person. Because I don't want this one person to sit
And this is how they keep the others from actually going there. Because
there and like these
sense of power over it. See, this person claims to be like this, the most exalted person in the world, and if you join Unicults, you'll be more advanced than any Christian ever was, and you'll get a higher level of heaven.
It's such a sad reality that one person can ruin it for everyone. You know what I mean?
No, I was harmonious.
Yeah, it's constant. It's constant. It's constant mail to the PO box, to the home address, constant emails, texts.
Yeah, constant mail. I have the same roll of stamps from years ago. I don't think I stick a stamp on a letter and send a letter to anybody more than a couple times a year. Maybe like 3-4 letters a year or something like that.
Yeah, and this is where I was saying that she's associating acts that other people have been doing with this guy when he may not be calling. He may not be doing these other things. They may be overestimating what he does.
Like that.
Messages, phone calls. He knows my.
Well, more if I decide for a holiday or something, I'm going to send something to each of the family.
I blocked his phone number, so he calls from a block number every single day.
I don't have a block number.
I don't think the police are going to do anything. They don't care about things like this. This is not. I'm not.
Yeah, if there really was a stalker, the police most definitely care.
Not if they're purely online. In my experience with the IP2 streamer, there are fucking raiders and things like they don't give a shit, man. They truly don't.
Actual stalking, not feminist stalking, not social justice warriors' definitions of stalking. Actual stalking is a very serious crime. It's what serial killers and stuff.
Yeah, so there are laws for like real life stalking. We're talking online, and we kind of have to say that if you're a public figure, there's a different set of rules that public figures live by. She most certainly is a public figure, so.
Do right before they kill their victims.
I'm not trying to pursue legal action. I'm not afraid of this.
Because there is no legal action.
Person. I think they just don't get it. I think
Unicults knows that I am the one that gets the fear reaction from her. But that doesn't mean it's not something I can go with. Because if you saw how I reacted to people in high school, that's how I win fights with people much bigger than me. Because that fear reaction would come in. And, I mean, I was always only somebody who acted in self-defense.
I think they're just not understanding. I don't want their energy in my life anymore. I don't want them to...
Then don't give me something to, feel like I have to defend myself against claims. If it was just, that could have been the whole thing. Unicults could have just said, well, we don't want your type in the group because we don't like scholarly sort of people, or we don't like people that have ethics or morals or something. We just want people who just feel around and see what feels positive and are check.
Yeah, this is unrealistic. She's never going to call you scholarly. She's never going to think of these things like that with you. She will never say those things about you. She will say, we don't like sexist, anti-Semitic. Imagine making a word anti-Semitic, calling like they never say like you're anti-white. But anyways, what I'm saying is they're never going to say that about you. They're going to say you're a scumbag, unscholarly, blah, blah, blah. If she says, we just don't fucking like you, dude, that's enough for me. And I'd peace out.
Check what's popular before you.
I'd peace out, but I would talk shit on other websites about it if it came up.
Contact me. I don't want them to talk to. Nobody wants them to ask them if they're in Unicults. They're not part of Unicults.
Now, nobody is obviously not true. And the only thing that sometimes, people want to talk to me, they're fine talking to me, and then Unicults says no. And it shuts the whole thing down. But a lot of people are just so brainwashed that they feel, I kind of want to do this, but do I make this decision?
I'm never going to be in part of Unicults. They have broken way too many boundaries. They have
And as far as I've been told, I have not broken any of the rules of Unicult.
Yeah, so when it comes to like, because I had friends like this. They're like, we don't talk to him because this guy doesn't talk to him. I don't give a shit. I'll talk to anybody. So if Unicle, like, and she's even contacted me about the stalker, right, and said this guy's weird. I'm like, whatever. I'll still talk to him to this day. He seems pretty chill to me. But it's unrealistic that someone's gonna call you Scarlet. They're gonna say the exact words, like it's some type of magical password to not let you stalk or whatever. So, if she says you're a dumbass and we don't like dumbasses in our group, I don't care. I'm a dumbass. Fuck it, dude. You know. So, figure it out.
Not a good person.
And see that back to the thing earlier. Not a good person, but then again, you see, she made her way through it quick because she obviously can't really articulate that.
And they have had many opportunities to clear up these misunderstandings, and yet they continue to.
No, if anything wasn't. See, honestly, right now, if I got a call from her saying, well, let's clear this up, that would happen very quickly if she was listening. I mean, don't have to obey or whatever, but,
It doesn't sound like you're gonna get a call from her, but I know that she Jeremy Garner was on this radio show because I was talking to this one guy, and then she popped up on the radio show with this guy, and she was almost like trying to silence Jeremy in some way by kind of controlling him and things of that nature. That like she really didn't want to be on the show, but she wanted to control her other significant other during the time. And I think when it comes to Unicle and who she chooses as a lover, I think I think with Jeremy, she saw Jeremy as a very passive individual. Jeremy, I feel, didn't know what he was getting into when she was getting into Unicle, basically. And maybe he's never been in a relationship. Maybe he was a fucking virgin. I don't know. But what I do know is that, like, on that radio show, I heard Jeremy talk, and I was like, this guy doesn't have a lot of experiences with anything, like, let alone females. So she chose him for a reason, basically. Like, maybe it was initially like him, like, into her, basically, and then she was into him, and I don't know exactly how that started, but she saw an opportunity to control another person, like a lover, basically, and I believe she was trying to control the narrative in that. I think she chooses, if we're gonna, and I don't like to do this, but I think she at that time was choosing Jeremy in particular because she thought she could control him, mainly, and that he wasn't a threat to her. And mainly because she said, well, he doesn't have the life experiences I have, and blah, 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 blah. And it was very apparent to me that she liked that control over him. Just in the matter of 5 minutes, I could tell that instantly. It's just, I would bet a lot of money on that, like, for sure. It wasn't a love relationship. It was a matter of control and dominance on her side. And that didn't work out too well, from my understanding. But shit, I forgot what I was originally going to talk about. But I think we were talking about
dispute, hate, and vitriol, and you can see through it.
I'm going to rewind this to 21 minutes or 30.
From her saying, well, let's clear this up. That would happen very quick.
Yeah, she's never going to call you. She should never have to call you. The clearing up is the video saying, I don't want to talk to you now. Then don't talk to her. Doesn't mean you're not allowed to not, do, like, she's a public figure. So you can make videos about her. You can disagree about her. You can interview people a part of her group. And I had a friend who was upset because I would talk to people that they didn't want me to talk to, but and that's the reason I brought up Jeremy Garner, right? Like during the interview with Omni, but yeah, I mean, fuck her. Like I mean, I would never, but like, you know, like I would not, I would disregard what she said, and I would talk to people she didn't want me to talk to, basically. Anyways, I want to find this out firsthand. Unfortunately, it's just my mentality. But she's flat out saying to you, I don't want to talk to you. She doesn't need to call you. There's no figuring out, you know. She doesn't want to talk to you. That's fine. But that doesn't mean you do whatever you want, man. I mean, like, I'm not seeing you doing anything that crazy, so. You're pretty much saying you're not mailing shit to her, and you're not actively visiting, you know, Uni Acres or her in real life. I mean, you're not doing anything.
Quickly, if she was listening. I mean, you know, don't have to obey or whatever, but, you know.
Dispute, hate, and vitriol, and you can see through it.
Being different isn't the same as being hateful. Now, especially how she privately talked to me. Even the way she says words. Oh, I'll pray for you, Jafar.
We understand it, but it's not going to fly anymore. So I want everyone to be
No, you either don't understand or you're lying.
aware of this person's presence. And if this person messages you, tell them stop stalking Unicults. Leave Unicults alone.
See, now I'm starting to get a bunch of messages about stop stalking Unicult. When we've learned previously that there is no stalking, it's some sort of energy work thing. And if you think my specters are out to get you, well, have beliefs that would keep you safe from the specters. Obviously, the visualizing purple light. And you know what that makes you?
Stop stalking Unicorn, man. Stop it. It's horrible. Stop stalking a public figure that's put herself out there. I'm just saying, he's allowed to watch your shit. He's allowed to comment on your tweets, and you're allowed to block him as much as you can, and you're allowed to call the cops as much as you can. But he's not doing anything that egregious. I've seen worse. I mean, swatting. He's not doing that. Like, he's saying he's not mailing shit. You're saying he's mailing shit. So who do we believe? I don't know. Do we believe the stalker? Or do we believe the alien chick? I don't know.
In a way, that's kind of like saying you're admitting to be racist. Because the whole indigo child stuff, people from Northern Europe, from Northern Asia, and, you know, people who descend from there have certain genetics, certain brown fat cells and that sort of stuff that makes them put off more of the purple in their aura if we're talking about the heat spectrum. Or it makes them more capable of that sort of thing.
Okay? Yeah, and if you want to do magic protection spells on me and on this house and on this property and even healing spells on that person to get them into a
And see, it's about building up the faith in her. The only reason why this is being brought up is to put it into a context of having faith in her, to build up the sense of power being given to her.
place where they don't care about this anymore, that would be really helpful because I am over it. I'm tired of it.
And people who are so-called tired of it would say, okay, there are these claims that I can't support. I haven't given my reasons for them. I'm just going to assert this stuff about you. Because I honestly would have had nothing to react against if they didn't just make a point of going around telling everybody they thought that would talk to me, don't talk to Jafar. You know, he's evil and anti-Semitic or not, or hates women, or whatever silly thing this person.
If I was told not to talk to someone because they're anti-Semitic, it's not just people from IP2. It would be people in not politically correct Ohio as well. Like I would have nobody to talk to. Nobody. No. So I mean I don't like she's lived in California for too long. I mean there are a ton of people that think Jews are up to something. So let's go on.
Can make up thinking, especially targeting these people who've been railed at by the media, to feel like they're oppressed, like they should be offended at anything. It's like, okay, well, if you don't like Simpsons or Married with Children or All in the Family or whatever, it's like, oh, okay, they're not the best of shows. We'll have to turn them off.
This is millions of people have seen my content and none of them are acting like this.
Yeah, most people just think, oh, what's this ridiculous, confused individual saying? Look at the comment sections to the videos off the Unicron and the Unicult channel.
So it's not okay.
No, I mean, those are unlike Vice and things, not your own channel, and you're not retaining that many people. And again, you're a cult. You're getting the misfits of society. You're not getting the best of the best. So,
it's not okay.
Or even
so that's the situation, and I'm just like, the amount of time that we spend in our meetings in Unicult talking about this person.
See, that's their obsession. I'll do 1,000 videos before saying anything about Unicult on my channel, but
Some of the problems that they're causing on every single platform, just one freaking person is just, I'm tired of it.
And it can easily be a lot more than one person. If people realize what this person really is, they can put problems that I would make no intention towards. And I wouldn't want to stop them from keeping the community safe or anything either. So,
So thank you all for your energetic support.
and see, I'm going to blame any problems I have on energy, whatever, but you guys can help me out and give me your energy.
And airplanes and state corrections and things like that, because
See, have some principles. Don't just try to visualize and give yourself an experience. Have some principles. Have some conscious.
notice how I think it's towards the end right here. I'm thinking.
Consciousness
I'm gonna let him talk.
of something other than sensuality.
it really is. It makes you just want to stop being online. One person.
And if it protects people, leave. Leave online. Leave people like me to, do what I do.
Yeah, fuck him, okay? Fuck the stalker. Like, just ignore him. I hate to say it, but let him, because there's going to be a million like him if you grow bigger. So, you let one person stop you, fuck you. You don't deserve anything, basically. You don't deserve to have Uniacres or anything. Just raise your kid and just be gone. Because you're not ready.
To bring about unity. To bring about understanding.
Imagine trying to solve the world's problems when you can't even deal with one person. Yikes.
Experience sharing. People don't always agree, and that's fine with my channel.
Makes me want to shut everything down.
And if this person did this, if they can't handle the idea that they're, forget the celebrity thing. If you can't handle the idea that people are going to react to you in terms of you as a spiritual leader, because this person can come on my channel and debate if that's what they want to do. I don't really like the whole idea of debating, but because there's implications to that word, but
Just run away, right? And that's not fair. That's not fair for me.
and no, see this person, things are starting to brighten up. They want to run away. They want to take the funds and go. That's why they talked about the dental work they got done outside of America. That's why they talked about how, they'd want to fake their own death and start over. but they're trying to find out a way where they don't have to fake their death.
That's a possibility, actually. Maybe she doesn't. Maybe she just wants to have a normal life and not do this anymore. Don't know. I don't know, because apparently people are moving to Georgia, and things are happening. So maybe she just wants out. Maybe she's having a kid and has it with another guy, and she just wants a normal life now. She doesn't want this shit.
That's not fair for the world, for the thing I'm trying to create. So.
And
Don't know. I'm not a mind reader, unfortunately. So we don't know that shit. It's an interesting thought to ponder about.
if you've made the down payment and you're there and you're able to actually open it to the public, well, if it's not created, that's your deal. The home is big enough, you can have a temple room. You can have a temple wing.
That's what I wanted to say. I don't think it's fair to tell somebody who's being stalked that they should just get used to it. I don't think.
That's true. And giving my information, my home address, to 2 Black Lives Matter chapters and 1 Antifa chapter, that's not fair. Making claims that people think, because all this stirring up, it's like, okay, fine, whatever. Even if somebody was a white supremacist or something like that, it's like they generally just want to protect their community. They're not the people in the street killing thousands of people of the color that they're supposed to be fighting in the cause of, right? But I mean, a lot of those people just need to be dealt with humanely and realize that there's people on what they think is the other side that don't support this stuff. That's all they need. But to accuse people of all sorts of stuff, that there's like this talk, it's like violence, that they even think this way. No, it's not.
That's a normal circumstance.
Well, normal and okay are not the same thing.
I think that's something that has to do with someone's severe mental dishealth.
And I actually noticed in some of the emails to me that because I was traumatized via dealing with certain individuals, that Unicle reminds me of, the blame is put on me. But that just makes me not want to do that to others. Not be a stalker, not attack people and hurt people in any way. I mean, it's just not necessary. You can defend yourself if people, invade your property or something.
And I truly pray that they get better.
And no, they don't. The whole point of this and some other stuff is to disturb people.
Taking away from the joy of sharing. Exactly.
No, the joy of sharing is there. If you feel like you have to argue with people just for the sake of arguing, well, no. Just like adversarialism for mere just being adversarial to a bunch of things is, that creates problems. One certainly knows that I was subscribed to a channel where that was one of his things, but it was more valuable than that, and eventually he kind of just, it got weary, you had to argue with yourself. If you couldn't find anyone else that would argue with you, you'd have to argue with yourself and change your position just to...
All right, thank you all so much. God bless.
Okay. So that was interesting. I figured I would post his thoughts on it, on his response to the video. And I think the only thing I disagreed with him on was A, he should never expect to get communicated by someone that actively straight up says, I don't want to fucking talk to you at all in any capacity. Don't want to get to know you. Think you're a bad man, and fuck off. I would have zero expectations for that person to come out and contact me, or even make a video like this. So we're gonna go to Blade as an outro because I want to end this because I got a lot of shit to do, and I'm gonna upload this on the internet. So because this is not live stream right now, unfortunately, because of that fucking claim. I got a warning. So we're gonna play Blade's motivational speak right here, and we'll shut it down after that.
We ain't backing up your fucking faggot ass shit, bitch. Imagine walking around. Alright, here's the thing, dude. Hey, Bo, what is this? 7 million humans? Male humans? 7 million females? And you haven't caught one yet? You're dumb, bitch. Fuck you. Fuck you, dude. If you haven't caught a fucking catch, if you haven't scratch ticket, use a bitch. Fuck you, dude. Seriously, dude. If you haven't fucking figured it out at this point, fuck you. Die. No, it's okay if you die in a fire a little bit. It's whatever. But like, dude, if you haven't found there's 7 billion bitches in this world and none of them like you, think about you. Fuck you. That's seriously, kill yourself. And if you die, no one would care, dude. Do you really think we're gonna walk around and figure you out? Fuck you, dude. Cheers. Figure it out, dude. If you think that 7.5 million people don't like you, you know what? Because you're a piece of shit. Goddamn right. Give me some jerky. You're a bitch. Figure it out, dude. I don't know what the fuck you're fucking thinking about. Oh, here's the thing, dude. Hey, if that happened, no one likes you, dude. Just, dude, you can't afford heroin, bitch. But die. Go. Scram. Get out of here. Get out of here. You fucking scrum-dealy-yumptious ass bitch. Go. Get the fuck out of here, dude. Okay, here's the fucking funny part about it is that if you don't want to be seen, we gotta work really hard to fucking get rid of you, you bitch ass bitch. Figure it out. Chuck, there, I love Ashley, and she got some big ass titties. Hey, you'll never have some big ass titties, dude, because you're a small dick bitch. Figure it out. Take me the thing, dude. I'll scratch you because I don't give a fuck, bitch. Figure it out. Go. Scram, bitch. Scram, bitch. If you have a small dick, horrible. Oh, no, you don't need that. Don't rape bitches. You can't rape bitches. Yeah, here's what it is. I'll But come on, bro. That's the truth, though, dude. Hey, here's the thing, dude. Maybe you're a small dick piece of shit, dude. Maybe you don't deserve to walk the life I walk. Figure it out, dude. Alright, so you die. Who cares? Alright, imagine you die. And you're like, no one gives a fuck. Figure it out, dude. That's all it is, dude. It's okay, dude, to be a fucking loser. Figure it out, dude. But, like, come on, dude. Like, do you really think people are gonna fucking shed a tear for you? Would no one shed a tear for you ever? Figure it the fuck out, dude. You died and you just went in the ground. Come on, dude.
Figure it out. Ayo.